know, Zoe, I've seen a lot of boxes in my day, but I think without a doubt Monster Bass is the better box. Oh, I agree with you, Tammy. And just hearing you talk about it, well, it's making my heart race. Let's do something crazy right now. Just you and me. What do you say? I don't know, Zoe. Don't you think it'd be more fun if the two of us waited and we did it with Rick? I don't think I can wait for Rick. I want to do it right now. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Monster Bass Live. If this is your first time tuning in, I'm sorry. Actually, no, I'm not sorry. That was a really great video, and I'm fresh back from my tour of the South. Clearly, I've gone to Busey's, and I got myself a hat. I'll be honest. I've never seen anything like that in my life. 225 gas pumps. I'm pretty sure there was a fishing tackle section, but I got lost because I spent an hour and a half in the store. I drank 2 large coffees before I even left the store. I got a tour. The manager told me who her least favorite employees were. I put on a Buc-ee's onesie. Yeah, it was amazing. It was an amazing trip. We'll talk about that later. We've got a great show for you today. If this is, honestly, if this is your first time tuning in, we got a treat for you. We are joined by none other than EPIC ERIC. And if you want to talk about a guy that knows a thing or 2,000 about things that have to do with fishing, this is your guy. We are going to go down into his basement. We're going to hang out. We're going to talk about, I don't know, crankbaits. We could talk about just about anything. And we only got about 40 minutes because he's got a lot going on today. So we're going to open the phone lines. We're only going to take a couple questions. I'll get to all your calls later, but we're going to take a couple questions, but we're not going to waste any time. Let's give a warm welcome to EPIC ERIC. How's it going, man?
Man, fantastic. I drove by those Buc-ee's and I never heard of it. What is it?
Okay, so it's like
what is Buc-ee's?
It's kind of like, I figure, like it's like the Griswolds going to Wally World. You go in there and they have 200 plus gas pumps. And the
crazy.
store was founded on the idea of the cleanest bathrooms and cheap ice. So I kid you not, Rafi and I walk in there and we walk into the bathroom and I lost Rafi right away. And so all I heard was, like, I'm yelling out Rafi, and all I could hear was the echo. Because first of all, the bathrooms are giant. Secondly, I felt like I was at a fancy steakhouse where I had to tip the guy because it was so clean. It's the cleanest.
Oh, wow.
It's the cleanest bathrooms you've ever seen. And if you need ice, they sell 20-pound bags of ice for 99 cents.
Holy moly! What?
Yes.
Wow.
And so it's a Texas-based chain, and they're now opening up a bigger one in Tennessee. This one's going to be the world's biggest. It's got 250 gas pumps. They've got the world's largest car wash. I mean,
What?
every day Rafi and I would go there, and I'm not joking when I tell you we spent an hour and a half. We filmed the whole thing, and
that's awesome.
Yeah, they've got a section for, you name it, beef jerky, seasoned nuts. What's that? Sweet nuts, right? Yeah.
Sweet nuts.
Sweet nuts. So, but enough about that.
That's right.
Yeah. How you been?
Man, fantastic. I've been doing a little fishing,
A little
little
bit.
derby fishing, a little bit of mini legendary lakes tours. I was just down in the Great Smoky Mountains with a kid who grew up down the street from me. He's a big bait specialist.
Okay.
And we slinged big baits.
Tell me.
Baits the size of your shoe. I mean, like DRT Clash 9, big triple trouts, Huddlestons. Oh my gosh, it's literally, these baits are just ridiculously large. But fun, man, fun. It's fun I saw 3 double-digit fish.
Wow.
None of them followed. None of them showed any interest. But we did land an 8.6 on day one, 4 bites, 1 fish in the boat, and all bites came with multiple fish over 8 trying to steal the bait. It was insanity. Close to the boat, and crystal clear water too.
Wow.
Day 2 was a whack fest. I mean, we almost got a dirty 30 on a crank down bait. This is a big bait from Division Rebel Tackle.
Okay.
It's a bait that you can glide. It's a bait you can crank. I mean, imagine cranking a bait that weighs like 5 ounces.
Yeah. What is that even like, throwing one of those all day long? Like, I mean, that's a workout.
It is a workout. You got to have the right rod and reel, obviously.
Sure.
It's more of a lob cast than a really throw it hard. You know, a lot of underhand because you're trying to get under overhanging limbs. But man, let me tell you something. It is not for the faint of heart. I mean, you have to want to do it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd rather be cranking
Sure.
a regular size bait,
Yeah.
you know, like a balsa square bill around rock or something like that.
Sure.
So you know, you were just down at Gunnersville,
Yeah.
but it was fun, new experience. That's where the film, if anybody's seen it, it was on a DVD. It was called Southern Trout Eaters, and it was about this like underground group of guys that were big bait specialists trying to break the North Carolina state record on big baits, using at the time generally conventional tackle.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
so pretty neat, man. It's a hypnotic 3.5 hours of video. One of the most insane stuff I've ever seen. From throwing big giant rats and the Zuma rats, it's crazy. Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy stuff.
So for those of you out there that don't know Eric, actually, let me rephrase the question. Eric, for those that don't know who you are,
okay.
I mean, why don't you give us a quick rundown? Because I mean, I see like what looks to be like 100 and something 3700s in the back. I think you stopped counting at around 150. So
it's a little bit nutty. Yeah, I'm a largemouth freak, a bass freak, but you know, I grew up largemouth fishing, pond fishing, believe it or not. My home river is the Potomac River. So I'm a river rat. I'm a tidal guy. I love to crankbait fish, and got into collecting crankbaits in the 70s, starting out with Bagley.
yeah.
So, you know, a balsa bait, right? And then from then it just I dove down into the JDM rat hole with a lot of Japanese bait makers. Incredible design and engineering go into their baits, and then more recently into the custom balsa world. Really fortunate to know a few really good painters and one really good bait maker, Marty Burns, the Big M, who, you know, hand carves balsa baits like old school, not made on a replicator machine. So it's not like, you know, make a master and then they're just pumping out blanks. This guy carves them one at a time. So actually working on some prototype stuff. So no, I'm a crankbait fiend, but I love all things bass fishing. So if there's a technique, I'm a junk fisherman. If you can, I mean, that's the best way to describe me. Whatever they're biting, whether it's on a spinning rod, a big giant rod, like an 8-foot swim bait rod.
Yeah.
I like to try it all. I like to explore, plumb new techniques. If it's out there, I've tried it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right. I want to say thank you to our sponsor, Liquid Death, for keeping us hydrated. For everybody watching, no, I'm not drinking alcohol. This is water. And you know, everyone can get some at 7-Eleven unless you're Alex Rudd, who gets
cheers.
Alex Rudd gets ID'd for water. He's the only guy on a planet.
Mr. Rudd, the bearded one.
Yeah, the bearded bad man himself. As always, the chat is monitored by the world's greatest customer support and the better half of the Rudd family. So let's make America great again with Bethany Rudd. So Eric,
so the moderator asked me, "What is this? The magic mushroom bottle?" No, it's just a swell bottle with all my little stickers on it. So, you know, these are all the Bass Lab stickers. Goonie Wolf inspired art. He's got some of the best bass art on the planet.
Yeah, this show's about fishing, not psychedelics. That's a different channel. And
just water. It's just water, Rick. I swear.
Exactly. So, if we were to go in the back there, where do you have like one tackle tray full of like your favorite crankbaits of all time, or is that too hard to narrow down?
No, I happened to put it together.
Oh,
I did a little prep for the show.
Okay.
So, you know, I think the journey kind of has to start like with the bait that started it all, right? I
Okay.
mean, and that would be for me like the original square bill. And I
Okay.
don't have a balsa one. I'm not fortunate enough to have bought one when I was 12, but I was fortunate enough to get a bunch of big O's. So
Mm,
this started the alphabet craze of crankbaits. It is the first square bill like ever produced, right?
really?
Um, and you know these baits were kind of made out of butyrate, which is a little bit softer plastic. So when you shake it, you probably can't hear it, but they used
Very
lead
faint.
as an in very faint lead as an internal knocker. You know, I love some of the old finishes. It's got the fat glitter on it.
Hmm.
That's really hard to shoot through an airbrush, so you don't see that much anymore. But you know that kind of started my crankbait journey. In fact, I'll tell you a quick story. I had a big alphabet plug like this. It was not a Big O. It was a copy of a Big O from China. I
Mm.
bought it at Kmart,
Hmm.
and there was a crystal clear pond near my house, where the original snakehead was caught in America. I live here where that snakehead was caught, by the way. And I was cranking some buckbrush in the water because the pond had flooded. And I remember cranking into a limb, stopping the bait. It floated back up, and literally a double digit came around and like sucked the bait in and spit
Yeah.
it out in a split second. I got to see it.
Oh my God.
After that, I was truly hooked on crank. I didn't catch the fish, but I was hooked on crankbait fishing after that. So,
Amazing. And
yeah,
when you
man.
say Big O, you do mean a cotton cordell, not something different?
Yeah, so this was
Okay.
made by Fred C. Young. The original was carved out of balsa. Fred Young named it after his brother Otis.
Okay.
So this is the Big Otis, O for
Amazing.
short. A little bit of crankbait history for you, right? So a lot of modern day crankbaits were made, you know, after the Big O, right?
Huh.
Might not have been the first square bill, but it was the first production run square bill when it went to plastic. So I don't know what an original Big O is going for now. Probably 500. The estate is selling them, but I was lucky enough
Yeah.
to meet a crankbait maker via phone that trained under him. And so I have some balsa kind of square bill plugs. And
Nice.
this was made by Mike E. Step. He signed it for me. He numbers all of his baits. This is 157. And you can see that,
Yeah.
right?
Now you don't
And
throw these, do you?
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to bring one out and throw it, but I wouldn't bring out the signed one.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
see if this one has an old school ticker. No, this one doesn't. But back in the day, to get a rattle in there, they would use. Here you go. Can you hear that?
Yeah. It's faint.
Yeah, a lot of guys would use a 22 caliber shell casing, cut off each side, and put a brass or steel ball bearing in it to get a single knock ticker. And it's
Ah.
a lot of work to put that inside of a balsa bait. So this
Yeah.
is a Mikey Step, and it's just an awesome bait. So a lot of square bills were spawned off the Big O. Um, one of the most iconic, rest in peace, Ed Chambers from Zoom.
Mm.
Zoom Plastics. Who knew?
Yeah.
Maybe some of you do, that Ed loved to make crankbaits. That was his passion. So this is an E1, and it was made after the balsa B1 by Bagley, and that preceded this bait, obviously. So Ed made a copy of one of the 1970s all brass
Yeah.
Bagley B1. You know, and what you have is you have a brass. When I say all brass, I mean brass hook hangers
Yeah.
and a brass line tie. So yeah, we got to talk to. Oh my gosh, Lee Sisson, who worked at Bagley for many, many years on a Bass University show. We talked crankbaits. Let me tell you, that was a dream come true to talk to him about his baits. So these are some of my favorites. Do you want me to keep going?
Yeah. Please. Please. I mean,
Okay,
you're dropping
I don't.
some knowledge. I mean.
All right, all right. So more recently, yeah, here's a ticker. So I always wanted to get that 22 caliber ticker sound going in a crankbait. I could never find anybody who made it, right? No production run balsa baits on the market that I know of have that sound. But I got to know Marty Burns, Big M. He still hand carves baits,
Mm-hmm.
and he made a square bill for me. This has a circuit board lip, but listen to this ticker.
Yeah.
Can you hear it?
I
Can you
I
hear it?
can. Yeah.
Is
For
it coming
sure.
through?
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. So again, man, I don't know what it is about that one knocker sound. Look, silent baits work, but I love a one knocker for some reason.
Okay.
So I'll switch off depending upon the mood of the fish. You know, all you got to do is cut the knocker off and put a silent one on. So I always have them make, you know, two of each, two knockers and two silent ones for me.
Tell me why the circuit board lip. Like, I feel like I see
Yeah.
that on like flat side or on a
Yep.
square bill, but why circuit board lip? And why only on
So
those type of baits?
so you can put circuit board in anything. If you have somebody that can cut them, right? You can cut it out of Lexan or circuit board. Circuit board's a thinner lip, right?
Yeah.
Thinner. I
Yeah.
mean, see how thin that is?
Yeah.
So it gives the bait a crispier action.
Mm.
It's just more, it cuts the water, right? But these don't last too long on rock. So if I'm on rock, I want to throw Lexan. You could literally wear the bill off. If you're grinding rock,
Yeah,
let's
it's
say you're
gone.
fishing riprap, it's early spring, you're going to wear that lip down, and that's a $25 to $35 crankbait. Yeah.
Yeah. You're
Yeah.
not
So
doing that. Yeah.
right, exactly. So this is just a crisper action, maybe a little bit better around wood. It can't dig into the wood if the wood is soft. That it's a sharp bill, right? I
What
mean,
does
'cause
that
it's
mean?
really
Crisper
thin.
action. Like
Tighter. It just
tighter.
you
It's
have
just
to
a
feel
tighter
it.
wobble, like
It
like a flat side would normally have.
not it maybe it's a faster, it just feels crispier. You could feel that wiggle better,
Mm.
it feels not tighter necessarily because it doesn't exactly change the action of the bait. I don't know how to describe it. You have to feel it. So if we were sitting at a pool and we
Yeah.
had our crankbait rods and I gave you a circuit board lip and then I said throw the Lexan, you'd be able
Mm.
to see it instantly. Absolutely.
Mm.
So yeah, so those are your traditional square bills. A lot of them modeled after those original Big O's, right, by Fred Young. Thank you, Fred Young. So
Mm.
um, one of my other favorite Bagley baits, and I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about, is the Killer B2.
Sure.
So this is again all brass, and they were one of the first companies to put lead in the lip. See that little lead
Yeah.
dot in the lip? And what that does is it helps it achieve diving depth faster, so you stay in the strike zone longer.
Mm-hmm.
But there's nothing quite like this bait. It has a severe X action, and it just gets bit.
Mm.
It's like I heard somebody describe the Killer B2 as a crankbait that thumps like a spinner bait. So it's like a spinner bait with treble hooks. Killer B2. And I've never seen anybody reproduce it, but it's a hell of a bait. Man, I'll keep going Bagley if you want me to.
Sure.
These are some of my favorite wood baits. So
Yeah, please.
this is a little special bait, man. It's a Bagley Bitty B.
Okay.
So I throw big baits and everything in between. This would be a finesse crank in my book. My buddy won a boat on this bait on the Potomac in a Bassmasters BP Top 150. Mike Grant was his name.
Mm-hmm.
And he fished, he didn't catch all his fish, but the final day's bag, which got him to the win, came on that Bitty B. That is a super tight, wiggling, miniature crankbait that big fish eat on my tidal rivers. A lot of times on tidal fisheries, the bait's smaller. Certainly in the fall, we get a huge influx of bay anchovies, which are literally about that size and about that color. So that's silver. And I love a foiled bait, by the way. So you can see the foil on that. But yeah, man, Bitty B. So that's in praise of like little finesse crankbaits.
Yeah.
One of my most prized possessions, and I don't know that this is an OG. There was a couple companies, couple makers that made this bait, but it's a baby pig. And this has been copied by many a bait maker, but it is a great spring flat side when the fish get shallow, very tight wiggle, and just catches the hell out of them. I think this bait in Japan today would sell for $400 or more.
It's called It's called a baby pig.
Baby pig, yeah, baby pig.
Jared,
Crazy,
write that
right?
down. Yeah. We got to make we're gonna make the baby pig.
Yep.
Now, speaking of that, all right, you were talking about baits, and you're talking about people. Lots of people try to reproduce them and everything.
Yeah.
If given to the technology available today, the way that we can scan 3D image and do all these things,
sure.
Why is it that you can't just take a bait like any of the ones you mentioned, or let's take like the original man's baby -1, the -1, right? Like,
yeah.
Why can't someone just go and reverse engineer it and make it to the original spec?
They probably could. There's kind of a code in the custom bait maker world that you don't copy another guy's bait.
Okay.
Like if I'm a balsa maker and a bait maker dies, that design dies with him. You might see
I get
something
that.
similar,
I get
but
that.
you won't see a replica. In the plastic world, different story. Like the OG -1. I'm glad you brought that up because I'm a fan, right? So
Okay.
this is an OG double stamped -1.
Double
And
stamp meaning what?
it was stamped with baby -1 on one side. This one's a little rashed up, so you won't be able to
Gotcha.
see it, but it's in Fire Tiger, one of my favorite colors, and man's on the other side.
Cool.
So Dan Moorhead won on the Potomac, made the bait famous. Literally, he won the Bassmasters. I think it was a BP again, top 150.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he won on in part the -1. And they made millions. And I guess the mold wore out. And so later models would only have man's or -1 on each
Mm.
side, right? Like one side wore out, they
Yeah.
reproduced it and they stopped printing it. So they had to get another, side made, if you will. And then later on, they sent the mold to China and ruined the bait, which was crazy. It wouldn't wobble anymore. But there was something about these first run. I don't know if it was the plastic. That's another bone of contention, if they're using the cheaper, lighter, I don't know how to describe it. It's like butyrate, and there's only a few crankbait makers out there that still use butyrate. I guess it has to be glued together. It cannot be sonic welded, right? So the newer plastics, I don't know if you've ever seen a sonic weld, but you probably have.
Yep.
You bring up Monster Bass crankbaits, two sides come together. It's like, like this, but about 50,000 times in a second, and the heat melts it together.
Okay.
These had to be glued. And so, that's kind of a slower process, if you will. And the resonance of a butyrate bait is just different than the lighter plastic today. I don't know if the fish bite it better or if it's the same, but some people will tell you that it does. Maybe it's in my head. I just like the feel when I chuck a bait that's made out of butyrate or wood.
Got it.
But yeah, I'm sure somebody could come up with a super shallow crankbait that goes less than a foot that catches the shit out of them. That's made today. I don't know why it's not being made, but yeah, I mean, I still hunt these down like crazy. Can't find them. So that's one of my favorite super shallow crankbaits when the fish get on super shallow wood. Or they're in grass, because tidal fisheries, you get those grass beds, the grass grows up, it goes up and down, it mats out. But if there's about a foot of water over it, and you can burn that thing over it in the summer when it's hot or early spring, you can have a day. So one of my favorites. Here's another bait that's not made anymore.
All right.
It kind of pisses me off, right?
Okay.
So this is a timber tiger.
Oh, I saw that you were recently just talking about this, or I saw it somewhere.
Yeah, so I painted this one, but TK Stanley painted this one. I painted this, well, no, he painted both these. But anyway, I sent him the nail polish to create an Aaron's Morning Dawn. I always wanted an Aaron's Morning Dawn, which has the white belly, color crankbait for clearer water, and we nailed it. I mean, that is a perfect replication. But I want to talk about the features of this bait. I love bait designers that have intention. Like this bait was made for one thing and one thing only. Absolutely cover cranking. And when I say cover cranking, I'm talking about throwing a crankbait where you would never throw a crankbait. Like it's a treble hook bait. Who's going to throw their $20 crankbait in a laydown if you can't get it back, right? If you're from the shore or it's a deeper laydown, you throw it in the nasty stuff. This bait has these little fins on the side.
Yeah.
And the hook lays below it and fins on the back, and it floats like a cork. So I can burn this, hit something. It's so high float, it backs up, and then you begin to retrieve again. It creates reaction strikes. It does deflect, of course.
Sure.
But you can wind this thing like a madman through cover. And, they just stopped making it. So it bums me out when you see baits that are like great like this, and then they just stop making them for some reason. So it's a pain in the ass to put hooks on. Maybe that's what happened.
Again, let me ask you that question again.
Yeah.
If the timber tiger was such a good bait and they stopped making it, what if I again, I don't know the etiquette.
Yeah.
So is there anything if I said, you know what, I'll make the timber tiger?
Well, what happened was, think about the bait that everybody was not talking about in Texas for years, which was the, oh my gosh, what's the name of it? It's the one that has the L bill.
Yeah, the Strike King one.
Strike King, the Strike King one.
I know. Yeah,
the Bubba, Strike Pro Bubba. It was Strike Pro.
It was Strike Pro that
Bubba,
made it first, and then Strike
they had the
King.
little Bubba. Right, but Strike King got the mold, so they really, and then Sixth Sense has their own version, a little bit different. But why did that bait never catch on? Was it because it looked funny? It looked goofy.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are L-shaped lips out there,
Lots
right?
of them.
A shallow shad wrap, right? Lots of baits, but it never caught on. Why? Don't know. Why did Mans? I mean, think about Mans as a bait company. Holy cow. Like one of the best spinner baits ever made was the Hank Parker Classic. Thin, ultra thin wire.
Mm.
That bait just got bit. And try to go find one.
Mm.
I mean, a lot of my river rat friends like that's one of the best spinner baits ever made. So who knows about companies, what happens to them? You know, like Mans, in the case of Mans, you take a -1 and you send the mold over to China,
Yeah.
and then it wrecks the bait. It does. They could have sent it to American factory. It didn't
Sure,
matter. I don't
I
care
get
if it's
it.
China, Czechoslovakia, or Mexico, or Honduras, or here, or Vietnam. Just get the bait right. Make it work the way the OG did, right? That's what I'm talking about. So I'll keep going. I'm going to throw in a JDM bait because this is like they think about their design, like they are master designers. They engineer their baits.
Yeah.
So in the world of crankbaits, hunting action sometimes is desired, sometimes it's not. So if I'm throwing at a stump and I want the bait to track straight so I can kick off that single stump, I don't want my crankbait going like this, right?
Right.
But if I'm cover fishing, like in a grass bed, and I have a bait that has an erratic action, I don't know where that fish is going to be hanging in the grass bed, right? So if it has fleeing action, because that's what creates, when a crankbait deflects off a cover, that creates a kick out, which creates that fleeing action that triggers a bass to bite. Deflection creates that action, which creates bites. So if you can engineer that into a crankbait, it becomes pretty special. So a company called Imakatsu made a bladed crankbait, right? One of my all-time favorites. Wow. And it's called the wattle bat. So you can see on the bottom hook hanger, it has that shaped blade, right?
Yeah.
And then it's got a diving lip. So this thing goes only about, 2 feet deep. And you cannot overpower it. This is not a crankbait that you can burn. It's a crankbait that you can like medium wind. And so as it's going along, this blade creates a hydrodynamic so that the bait goes like boom, kicks out and then comes back to center and then kicks out a little bit and comes back to center. It's like a bat. It's never going the same place twice. The first day I took this out against the -1, Bob Cherry, one of the best crankbait fishermen I've ever known on the Potomac. He's got his -1. He's in the front of the boat. We're cranking shallow wood. He gets the first cast. He gets the cast to the V. He gets to parallel the log. I'm coming behind him with this bait, this color. I literally destroy him. I am shocked at the fish coming out of nowhere to eat this bait. They make another side, which is the big one. So on the second pass, I cut this off. I ask him if he wants it. He says, no, I'll stick with my -1. 25-year bait. He's been killing with it, right? I put on a different color, big bat. I come back, I catch 2 snakeheads, 3 more bass, and we both are going, that's unbelievable. He caught 0, and I can't remember how many he caught, but it was a lot.
And it's called the big bat?
Well, this is called it's the wattle bat. The wattle bat. So there are several bladed crankbaits out of Japan, adding blades. I mean, VMC's got a hook where you can add a blade because it's on the treble, but this particular way they engineered it created that hunting action of the bait. I've had some career days on this thing. I don't know if anybody knows, but I love colored hooks. That's a Gamakatsu red number 5, which if it would stay still, you can see that the paint's been chewed off of it, and it's a gold hook underneath. So I get the best of both worlds because everybody likes gold and so do bass. So like if I'm throwing a shad crankbait, I'd rather have a silver hook than a black hook. I think it gives a visual cue because shad have silvery like scales.
Interesting.
And and the red, I mean, people say red disappears first underwater, but not when you're fishing 2 feet. They can see it. Here's another man's bait. So here's a curious question. Why did they ever stop making the pogo shad? Again, painted by TK Stanley. These were blanks that I happened to get and 2 pretty cool colors.
I'll be honest, Rafi and I have this conversation all the time. Why did they stop making the pogo shad? I mean, Rafi, we don't have to have this conversation anymore. We're about to find out.
So the pogo sheds, it's like it's a rattle trap style bait, right?
Yeah.
Vibration, lipless vibration
Yeah.
bait. But the tail design is really cool. It has some issues with it if you fish it too much, because and the magic of this bait is it is the widest wobbling, hardest thumping, because most lipless vibrations are tight, right? We've been taught to, lipless has to be tight. No, this
Yeah.
thing thumps. I mean, it thumps because of the tail. But here's the cool part: when you snap it out of something and you pause it for a second, this corkscrews down like a dying something. It literally so it creates a little line twist. So when you're fishing this, you got to be diligent. If you're lucky enough to have a pogo shad, they make 2 models. These are the back hook models. But pogo shad, man, it's very unique, something they haven't seen or heard. So I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the wiggle wart from Storm.
Of course. Now,
Yeah.
now tell me, hold on. Now tell me, is there a difference between Brad's wiggle wart
Wiggler
or the wiggler? So it's a totally different bait,
Wiggler.
right?
I have some Brad's wigglers, but I haven't like gone to a pool and tested them.
But it's a different bait altogether, correct?
It's a very similar shape and size.
Okay.
But little mods can make a difference.
Yeah,
I mean, I know there was a Brad's Wiggler with like a V chip in or an E chip that like sent out this sonic sound, and it got me interested. I think I bought a few off of eBay. I never threw them because when you have something like a wiggle wart, why would you go to the Brad's? But wiggle warts are like $100, for the colors that you want.
Crazy.
But look, the new wiggle warts catch them too. So don't everybody get like hate on me because I'm going, vintage wiggle warts. It's just like, look, if you've got something that works, you want to throw it. I throw new ones too. I tried the new deep one. But anyway, I mean, iconic and again, crazy hunting action.
Mm-hmm.
Like this bait is it's searching when it's grinding down there. It's doing this. It's just doing this. It's not going in a straight line while wiggling. It's literally like trying to find itself.
Now talk to me about the lip on it. Why does
it was a manufacturing flaw? That's what the magic was. The mold was imperfect, and there's this little center line which is not perfect. So that in part created a balance issue, which made the bait special. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy. So it was an accident, and it turned into be iconic.
A happy accident. That's exactly right. So,
and is there
a ton of fish.
And what about the painting of the lip? Like, why don't more people do it?
Well, that's interesting. So you saw that one that I showed you had a painted lip, and I'll show you one that doesn't have a painted lip. And I got to throw this up in New York on Will's Waters, where we went.
Yeah.
And that's a repaint by TK. I had some crappy colors that were like walleye colors. And I'm like, do me like a muted craw. And so, you can see it's got the clear lip, but it's kind of like got a translucent, you can kind of see light through it color, but I want a little red. But man, those smallmouth ate it up there, man. It was really fun. Next time you go up there, you got to crank a little bit because it's available. Yeah. Oh my gosh. You could literally have a career day up there cranking. I mean, that would be the place to go to crank because they were eating the crankbait, which was kind of cool. So, one of my other favorite plastic baits of all time is it's got a very unique shaped lip.
Well, hold on. You didn't tell. I want to understand.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, the painting of the lip.
Yeah, why some people would paint the lip. So think about it. If I have paint, like on this one wiggle wart, my 2-inch bait now becomes a 3-inch bait. So it's a profile thing, right? And a lot of guys that are true crankers, like in flat sides, they want a clear Lexan lip and not a milky computer board lip. Because, look, the crankbait's moving. But if you're a purist and you're saying, I want just them to look at the craw body, like, does a craw body have a milky lip on the front? I mean, it's digging in the bottom, so does it make a difference?
Sure.
I don't know. Is it in the fisherman's head? Probably so. So it's a personal preference thing.
Got it.
But that does make that bait bigger.
Got it.
Right? That's a much bigger profile than if it had a clear lip.
Sure.
Match the hatch thing? Don't know. Are most of their craws 2 inches on the Ozarks? Don't know. But there you go. So yeah, another bait, dynamite bait. This is a flat A. Of course, you could probably tell I'm into custom painting. Another one by Tacklecraft. There's something about this funky action of this flat A that just catches them. Cast like a potato chip. They recently made the flat A with a weight transfer system.
Okay.
I can't tell you if it works as well as the old goofy potato chip flat A because they just brought them out. It's a Bass Pro exclusive. So they
Wow.
try to correct the potato chip because that's the problem with a lot of flat side baits. They tumble when you cast them. There are things you can do. And I did a little crankbait show with Travis, and I showed how to wrap lead wire around the back hook of a shad wrap. Because if you don't have a shad wrap in your game in the early spring, number 5 or number 6, in one of the craw colors or shad color, you're missing out. One of the best baits ever made, catches them like crazy. Throw it on a spinning rod, 8-pound test, and have at it. Number 5 or number 6 or number 7, depending upon the forage in your area. But I throw a little lead wrap around the back hook. It tail weights it, and it doesn't tumble as much. It also makes the bait, like you got to think, if I'm worming that shad wrap along the bottom because it's cold, right? I'm not burning it. I'm worming it along. It's colder water. Or maybe steady reeling it. If I stop it or pause it once it hits a piece of cover, that nose is going to want to come up. So it creates secondary action. That's a crankbait that has secondary action is something to be revered. What do I mean by that? So there's primary action. Does it hunt? Does it track straight? Is it a tight wiggle? A big wobble and roll, right? There's all sorts of actions to crankbaits. But when it hits cover and you pause, what is it doing? Does it suspend? Does it slowly sink? Does it rise? Does it back out of cover and wobble? Secondary action. That's what balsa can do for you. Like I throw some balsa baits made by Marty. They are super buoyant. And when I say super buoyant, the balsa is very, very springy. So wood has an action, but you can do that in plastic. And I want to show one of the iconic baits from Lucky Craft. It's a BDS-4. And so this is the Fat CB BDS-4. So that's the Pro Tune series, which were made in Japan. They make a USA version. Not sure if it's the same, but I like the Pro Tune made in Japan. But they wanted to have a bait that mimicked the action of balsa, and they did it. I like big baits. I like them all. I cannot lie, man. So this is a big crankbait. I mean, I'll hold this up next to like a 1.5 and you'll see the difference, or a -1. I mean, look at the size of that bait compared to a -1. Big baits get big bites. I've cranked with people that were throwing a 1.5 size in front of me. I'm throwing a BDS-4. They're catching more fish, but I'm catching the 3s a lot. Yeah, I've had some of my biggest bites in the spring and biggest bags for the BDS-4. So in praise of big baits. I like them. I like them a lot. All right, what else do I got here? So I showed you the flat A. This is a cool story. I love a story when somebody like a Mike Iaconelli is so enamored with a balsa bait that they can't take it and they have to have a company like Mans reproduce it. So this lure is called the Little Speedy. It's an ugly duckling. That's an ugly duckling.
Yeah.
And it was made by Jerry Lohrs. Lohrs, Little Speedy. So this is a great, I did a little bass class with Pete Gluzik on the Upper Bay, and he showed me how to worm a crankbait through cover. Not like crash a crankbait like the Timber Tiger through cover, like speed reel it, but worm it. What do I mean by worming? I'm throwing the bait out, I'm cranking it down to depth, and then instead of using the reel to pull the bait towards me and move it through cover, I'm pulling with my rod as if I had a worm on, and I'm feeling limbs and things. I'm worming the bait through cover. It's a cool bait. So this bait would crash into cover. If I gave it a little twitch, it would do a 180 and look back at any fish behind it. Yep.
Oh.
That's secondary action. If you can make a bait do that. So Mike, when Jerry stopped making these and you couldn't find him, he went to Mans. And what did he make? The Thin Man. That is Mans reproduction in my custom repaint of my spring crawl, again by TK Stanley, of the Little Speedy. And let me tell you something. I took one of these Thin Mans because I couldn't get my Little Speedies anymore. And Jerry, I'm sorry. God rest your soul. If you're up there listening, I think he may still be alive. I don't know. I don't have his number, but I love his baits. They were really inconsistent. He was making them out of wood. Then he started with this moon dust, like composite material. You never knew what you were going to get with a Little Speedy. and you never knew what you're going to get with a thin man either. Because when they went to weight them, they would clip the weights like inconsistently. The lead in here, because I would look through. So you might get a sinker, you might get a suspender, you might get a riser, but they're all good for if you know what you're looking for, right? Or the Bass Active.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'd rather have, when I'm in cover, I mean, a suspending bait can be pretty devastating, but it can also be maddening because you're going to get hung up. But anyway, this is Mike Iaconelli's ask of Mans to make and remake the Little Speedy. Who knew?
Who knew?
There you go. They don't make this anymore either. So I know I drive people crazy when I bring out all these out of production baits. But anyway, there are some of my favorite, and there's tons more. I mean, the Rapala DT6, DT4. I've got gads of them, but I mean, I could keep going all night, man. That's just what I picked out. Any questions?
Yes. I'm gonna ask the question that everyone else has.
All right.
I know you gotta go because your time is limited, and the only question that needs to be asked is, when can you come back?
Oh man, I mean, tournament season Thursdays are hard, but in the winter time, I'll be streaming on Jig Squad at 8. But I don't mind coming on anytime at 7, Eastern.
Well, what if I were willing to just switch the day?
Oh God, yeah, for sure. So like a Wednesday special Monster Bass or something like that, Crankbait Mania or whatever.
I mean, you could just tell me the day and I'll just make it work.
Okay, that would be cool, man. It would be fun to do, because I mean, hell, I didn't cover anything, but this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I got Marty Burns making me a balsa, rattle trap that suspends. Will that work? I don't know, but I aim to find out.
That's amazing.
Could be fun.
Listen, I want to be respectful of your time, and I know you got to go. Thank you so much for coming on the show, dropping the knowledge. I think it's the show that I spoke the least on, and the one that and the one that I took the most notes on. I mean, I've got notes written all over my show sheet. I guess I have a lot of homework to do, because
I enjoyed it.
Thank you so much.
You got it.
He's EPIC ERIC. He's all of our ambassador of Quan, and we're gonna say goodnight. And thank you so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate it, man.
You got to do it, man. I love what you're doing at Monster Bass with the technique-driven boxes. I think they're fantastic. I love, there it is, man. I love the deep dive into bait hacking.
Yeah, guys.
Hey, man, pro tip.
Okay.
If you want to add a little color to your crankbait, go buy some nail polish. Go buy some nail polish. Like muddy water situations, like that had no paint on it. I made that like hot orange. Go buy some gaudy chartreuse orange, reds. There's lots of little, like shad scale. I mean, it can make a difference in your game, and it's simple to do. Just rough it up a little sandpaper, clean it off, throw a little paint on there, man. Doesn't have to look pretty. Go for it.
All right, get out of here, because if not, you're going to keep. I know you love talking about this, but again, you got to get going. Thank you so much,
Eric.
All right,
thank you for having me on. Thank you, everybody out there. I appreciate all the comments. I wish I could have been more engaged in it, but it was a quick hitter, 45-minute. I'm sorry I talked so much, man, but I just had to get through this box. I had to get through this box, right? That's a good box.
Yeah, that's a great box. I'd like to go through the other 108,000 that you have up there someday, but
it's pretty crazy, man.
All right.
Oh, June bug crankbait. Where's my June bug? Damn. I usually have that. Here it is. I think this might have been the world's first June bug crankbait, Rick. And that was, I painted that in my basement here in the Bass Lab. I took it up to New York. Swear, the bridge that we fished, me, you, and Travis.
Yeah.
I made one cast, caught a bass on the first cast, and then we did not catch anything else. That is a first, and I've never thrown it again. First cast June bug. Boom.
Amazing.
Why don't they have a June bug crankbait? June bug worms are so damn good. Now they do.
Well, now they do, because I'm going to paint a June bug crankbait. I'm writing this down.
I love it.
I'm going to have a June bug wattle bat made out of butyrate. I can promise you this. and then you must go.
Yes.
I can promise you I will never put out a crankbait in a shad pattern that has black hooks again.
I love it.
I'm serious.
Yeah,
I've been taking notes. I'm not
Dude,
even messing around.
Dude, I bought the silver hooks from a related monster bass site. They were Gamakatsu silver tin hooks, man.
Yeah.
So I got them. Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
got them from you. You damn right, man. And I love a red number 5 Gamakatsu. They make it if you can find it. Number 5 is a very off size. They used to reserve it for bait manufacturers, but some stores carry it. It's the size that is in between, obviously, a what? So it goes 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Yeah. So between 4 and a 6. Number 5, they make it, and they make a number 3, which is an odd size. So anyway, lots to learn about hooks, EWG versus round bend. I mean, we could go on, man. Damn, this was fun.
Why don't you drop the mic and just walk away? I'm serious. The show's over.
I don't have a mic.
All
but
right.
what do I do? Just like hang
just
up?
Get up and walk away. I mean,
okay, man. I'll do it, man.
Okay.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Rafi. Thank you, Monster Bass. Thank you, everybody out there.
All
We'll see you again. All right,
Thank you, Eric. All right. Bye-bye. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I just got my Bachelor of Science in crankbaits, and we didn't even scratch the surface. Not only is he like a really nice human being, like I've gotten an opportunity to get to know him a little bit, just like, I don't know about you guys. I just sat there. I didn't even have to talk. It was like, I literally learned so much about crankbaits. I have notes everywhere. Alex, can you please call me? His stream link? Yeah, the link that I sent him to patch in. If he wants to patch in, he can, or he can just call me, whatever. I'm just like, that was, I'm not really sure what to say. That was amazing. That was amazing. We should show up at his house. All right, let's go. Either this is Mamaw or this is Alex Rudd. One of the two. But hello?
That's me.
Bro.
Hey.
Bro. Hi, first of all, how you doing?
Bro.
Yeah.
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I saw you a couple days ago. Miss you already. But let's talk about just what just went down.
Yeah. He's epic. He's epic Eric. I mean, that's why they call him that.
I mean, that was ridiculous. I've never been so captivated by a conversation about crankbaits in my entire life. That was amazing.
Yeah, I had him on my podcast. I've had him on my podcast twice, and both times I've had to split the episode into 2 separate audio episodes and upload them because we went almost 3.5 hours.
Oh my God.
I mean, the dude is a wealth of crankbait knowledge. And like, honestly, at one point talking about like, you know, the shad wraps and weighting the shad wraps and doing those kinds of, those were secrets I was going to take to the grave with me. And he just put them out on the internet for everybody to have. I mean, like, that is some sneaky crankbait fisherman stuff that like people just, like, that's the kind of crap that makes the difference in catching giant, really on pressured waters and stuff like we fish around here.
Yeah, and for everyone watching at home, you know, every month in the magazine, Eric has a whole section for bait hacking. Like, so if you're sitting at home, right, like, this isn't a box of mystery baits that, like, you know, your 11-year-old gets spending his allowance. No, we're going to teach you how to fish and drop some knowledge. And every month, Eric is like putting in hacks into the box. Like, I don't know what people are thinking of. It's crazy. I mean, man, I got some work to do. Like, that was amazing.
Yeah. You know, what's really cool is you need to have him on some night, or just, we need to have the conversation one day and get some of it recorded about balsa baits and his balsa collection. He kind of like, scratched the surface tonight, but like his balsa collection is extensive. And like East Tennessee and this like part of the country is where like creating balsa baits was born out of, as far as like, like Ott has his OG Slim, right? Well, Ott's OG Slim is just one of hundreds, if not thousands of, variations on a balsa flat-sided crankbait. And like, my dad has boxes and boxes of them, and he's got stuff that probably people's never seen before. And dude, Eric has even more than that. Like Eric has an extensive knowledge of that. That kind of stuff fascinates me. That, it's the whole reason we created, my crankbait and the colors. The colors were what always fascinated me. But like even more so, there's the colors, but then there's what the colors are actually painted on is important too. And like that's around here, man. That's where that whole fascination with crankbaits was born. And,
man,
East Tennessee is like that area of the country that happens in.
Yeah. It's
speechless.
Yeah, I really am. I never thought that I could be a part of a crankbait conversation that I would pay such close attention to. I mean, I was hanging on his every word. Yeah. It was because it was just so amazing.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he's the man. He's EPIC ERIC for a reason. Like it's the first time I ever talked to him. That's exactly what I thought. 3.5 hours we did, and like it was just amazing. All the crap that we talked about. Yeah. I mean, it's gold, dude. It is literal gold. Like I wish people could really understand like how much gold that man just laid out there for everybody to have.
Yeah. Yeah. When we were up at the St. Lawrence, I spent 3 days in the boat with him, and just listening to him, it was like, oh my God, it was so good. I mean, that's some serious. I wonder how much his collection's worth. I think he told me one time.
Oh,
it's in the hundreds of thousands.
He told me. He told me like upwards of $500,000 probably, and that's an underestimation. Like ridiculous, but awesome all at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I got a lot of fishing crap. That dude has a lot of. I mean, like I would love to just go walk around. It's like a museum. You know what I mean? Like
totally.
You walk into a museum, you see a dinosaur skeleton, you're like, oh, that is a dinosaur. You just stand here and look at it because it is what it is. I feel that would be Eric's basement. It's like I just need to stand here for about 10 minutes and just take it all in before I even move around.
Sure. That was amazing. Anyway, I just felt like I needed to chat with somebody that I recognized rather than the random caller, because we can get to them later. After that, it was like, oh my goodness.
So I get it. It's great. Well, I'm glad that I called, and I'm glad that you wanted me to come on here. Now, get to a random caller and pull some of these golden tickets before some of these dudes over in the comments have a hemorrhage or something.
All right, I'll do that right now. We'll talk to you later.
All right, see you, bud.
All right, bye-bye. I mean, okay. Let's go to this one. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Let's go to this one.
Yeah, turn down the volume.
Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Hello? Hello? Oh, no. Matt Goodnature. He probably got tired of waiting and he's going to the bathroom.
Matt Goodnature.
Here he comes, see?
He probably got tired of waiting.
You coming? All right, call back in. We'll get to you. Let me see who we got now. Hello?
Hello there, Rick. You know it's Mr. Gambit. I was in the chat and I heard what Eric was doing, giving up all the juice for everyone to get. Officially, you know he was bringing the juice every single moment of the show because I saw how glued and glassy-eyed you were listening to him. So officially, you know what crankbait fishing can do for you once you get started on crankbait fishing. Absolutely. You know the crankbait fishing can be so much fun. It's the summertime now, going on the warm weather months. and the fish are out roaming the cove, shallow, deep. They're a little bit of everywhere. So officially, if the people don't know, your VIP list has been on fire the last few months for sure. Letting people know, guys, if you missed out on Rick's free bait giveaway, I think him and Ralphie gave away 800 baits the other day just for sending a text out. So you guys got to follow Monster Bass around, because certain days he will give away stuff. If you're not on that list, get on that Monster Bass list. It is absolutely the thing you want to be on to save yourself some money with this high gas price we got going on right now. So for sure, absolutely, Eric bought the juice. He is that man. He is that dad in bass fishing that everybody wished they had. Now, my dad taught me how to hunt. My mom taught me how to fish. But EPIC Eric is that wealth of knowledge. When you're fishing with him, you sort of wish that, damn, where's I need to throw next? What do I need to throw next? Eric is that guy you want to have on the boat, because he always seems to know what to throw next.
Hey,
now, Rick, officially.
Go ahead. No, you tell me. What were you going to say? I'm going to let you finish.
Okay, now this is what we got, going. Since we had like the world's best bass dad on, Father's Day is coming up next month. Let's do the world's best bass dad. Let's do a box with juicy baits in it, loaded up. Let's make sure we give out good baits, give out everything that everybody possibly could want. Stickers, hats, koozies, all kind of loaded stuff. See what you can do for the fathers next month. I don't have my dad here. I don't know if you got your dad or not. But, it's always good to take care of dads on Father's Day. My kids usually take care of me. So, giving a cool limited bundle bass dad box would be just the coolest thing to give out to everybody. I'm loving that thought, because we had a cool guy on that gave that wealth of knowledge that everybody knows. They got those juicy secrets out that, like you said, Alex didn't want those secrets out, neither did I, but those are the secrets that everybody sort of keeps in the back of their mind, or what do I need to throw to get a fish? And Eric let a lot of it out just in the last hour. I'm telling you, he is that guy you want to get out to California on a production deal that said, look, Eric, we're going to keep you out here for the next 3 weeks. We're going to shoot some shows in Northern California and Southern California. We're going to make a real classic episode, and we could have this guy giving out all kind of knowledge throughout the spring and fall.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I'm here, buddy. That's what I'm saying now. I think it's a little delay here.
All right. Well, listen. First of all, clearly you've been to my website. I haven't been yet, but I was just handed a sheet that it turns out we do have the world's bass dad Father's Day special up on the website, and it's a box containing the Monster Bass Rolo 6 crankbait, a Hammerhead 1.5 silent square, a Strike King Red Eye Shad lipless, a Strike King Thunder Cricket, a Z-Man Chatterbait, an Optimum Baits line through swim bait. I believe it all comes in a Monster Box 3700. It's got a face shield. It's got hooks. It's got a koozie, a World's Bass Dad bumper sticker, a World's Bass Dad magnet. We've got a limited edition Father's Day bundle, perfect for the fisherman in your family, the dad, because Father's Day is coming up in about a month. So don't waste your time. You can get it only from your friends at Monster Bass. Thanks, Mr. Gambit.
Thank you, buddy.
Oh. That's amazing. I wonder what it's like at his house. I mean, he must be like the world's best grandpa, like just messing around with all his little grandkids and stuff. Either that or he drinks like a pot of Folgers. I don't know. One day we should go to his house. I don't know what that would be like, but one day we should. Let's do some golden tickets really quickly. Can you turn off the hotline? All right, some golden tickets. All right, so if you're new to the show, you'll probably be back because, you know, every episode that we do is just like today. Our guests are always dropping knowledge. If you're a Monster Bass subscriber, individually numbered golden ticket. If you get, I'm going to call out the number. If you got it, email me at marketing@monsterbass.com. We'll send you a box full of good stuff. The golden ticket numbers are T10995N7235, 02183R4950, L5344I1032. And I'm going to stop right there because Jared is looking at his screen all confused because the golden ticket numbers that he has, I bet, don't match the numbers that I have. And this is all Jared's fault. We had the greatest show going, and Jared messed it all up. Jared, I don't understand.
I have it right on the other screen.
What other screen?
The screen with the guest.
Okay, so bring the guest up, and even though he's not there, people see the numbers.
Okay, sure.
Oh, look at that. That's exciting. It'll make everyone think he's coming back. Look at that. Our numbers just went. No, not the last one.
Okay, well then stop touching.
Wait a minute. These numbers don't match mine. Oh, my God, Jared. You got one job to do. Put the golden tickets up on the screen. Oh, God. Oh, God. You get what you pay for. Jared, look at his face. He's turning red, even though he knows we're... Yeah. I had something else to say.
Here's the golden ticket numbers. Do those match?
Yeah, they match mine. Because you're the one that did it. You screwed it up. Come on, Jared. Even Bethany. Rudd's
Yeah, I screwed it up.
All right, so how do we get these numbers up on the screen? Can we put them in the chat? Here. Give those to him. Oh, give that back. It's got notes on it. Very important stuff. We just got a master class in crankbaits, and you're welcome. We're going to be respectful of time because I would love for you guys to head on over to the Jig Squad, head on over to Burley's show, one of those two. Check it out. Tell them we said hi. What else is there? Next month's box is on fire. It's Topwater month. I love Topwater month. You know why? Because it's that time of year that we all wait for so that we can see those explosions, so we can see that fish come up, take that bait, and make the water move. I've got a great box for you. Hold on. Let's bust it out. Let me see what we got here. Oh, it's Topwater month. And who's that? I think that's Burley on the cover, isn't it?
No, it's what's his name from School of Fish.
Oh, it's from School of Fish. But you know what's exciting about this issue, Rafi, is there he is, EPIC ERIC, the bait hacker. EPIC ERIC's bait hacker. All your stuff. You want to learn about some topwater stuff? He's got some sneaky squeakies for the buzz bait. He's got matching the hatch. He's got the rattling frog. He's got all sorts of hacks in here. You got to get this if you want to know what Eric's got to say. Get it. What's in the box, folks? Well, let me see. Now, this is a Regional Pro Series, so don't get all upset if you don't subscribe to the Regional Pro and you subscribe to like a different box and then you don't get these baits. I'm showing the Regional Pro Series box. Ready? I mean, here's a great pencil from Yozuri. I mean, you can't beat a Yozuri pencil. I mean, Yozuri makes some of the best paint schemes. I know people love to like get on 6 cents, but these guys make some great schemes. So that's a Yozuri pencil. A little bigger profile in the topwater space from me. This is Ragnar. It's Sorry. It's a 4 3/4 inch bait, 3/4 of an ounce. It's great. You're going to love this. I promise. I don't know what color you're going to get, so don't get upset if you don't get this color. This one actually is a limited edition color. What else? Some Gary Yamamoto's making their way to the box. These are the Yama frogs, and like top water, when I'm fishing these top water, you can fish these, you can set them up weedless. So we hook you up with some EWGs so you can fish these frogs weedless. What else? Got to have a popper, right? So we got a popper from Booyah. This is the Boss Pop. I believe there's like 2 or 3 different types of poppers this month. This one just that I'm showing you happens to be from Booyah. We've got brand new for this year, new to the Vicious Fishing lineup is their the Pad Runner. It's a 60 millimeter frog. Again, brand new for 2022 from Vicious Fishing. And something that I'm really excited. So, American-made brand. You know, I love American-made brands. This is from Razor Custom Tackle. Now, I know you're sitting there like, I never heard of Razor Custom Tackle. This is the prop knocker. These guys are crushing it in the Midwest on the Midwest tournament scene. And the rest of the country probably has never heard of it. This deal was a year in the making. Because they don't produce that many. And so for us to get as many as we could for you guys required a year. And so I'm really excited that you guys are going to get a chance to fish this. It's a great buzz bait. The wire is super thin, so you're going to feel this in a way that some of the other buzz baits with thicker wires, you're not going to feel it. You're going to love this thing. You could even put the frog on the back of this as a trailer if you want. And, of course, you know, we got some stickers because you got to have some stickers. And this is actually one of EPIC ERIC's designs. It's Dr. Krankenstein. We have this in a T-shirt on the website as well. So if you want to hook yourself up, get it. There you have it. I mean, it's a pretty legit topwater box. We've got just about every type of topwater bait you could imagine. And, of course, we've got... some great knowledge from Eric. So you guys are going to love that. Okay. What else? Really liking this Liquid Death mango flavored. I kind of make fun of it because my kid only drinks like flavored water, but it's pretty good. There's a June contest? Oh, no, I'm talking about the fishing tournament. All right, so something else that'll be in this box. We just don't have the coupons yet. I'm waiting for them. So we are starting the Monster Bass monthly fishing tournaments. It's a month-long tournament. We break the country into regions to make it fair. It's your best 5 fish, but we'll also have prizes for the biggest fish in each region. It's $25 to enter, unless you're a Monster Bass subscriber. If you're a Monster Bass subscriber, we'll give you a, I think I've got it right here, actually. Let me pull it up. We will give you your own identification card. Where is it? There it is. Ooh. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see this, but that's going to print. So, you know, if you fished a kayak tournament before, you know, you've got your ID card with your identifier. We are going to put one of those in each box. Allows you to participate in the tournament for free. So it's a $25 bonus. Fish the tournament, don't fish the tournament. If you think you can outfish Alex Rudd, well, give it a try because he'll probably be fishing it. And or Mikey Balls or some of the other guys on the team. But, yeah, you're going to get a shot. In your box will be one of those cards, and you just go download the Fishing Chaos app, search for Monster Bass, hit register, use the code that we provide, and your $25 entry is automatically free. What else? That's it. I'm not gonna prolong this show. Thank you though to Marty Lawson for your $20 super chat. I appreciate you, as I appreciate each and every one of you. We had a really great show today, and I want to end on a high note. Actually, do me a favor. I need everybody to do me a favor. Please, please, please hit the thumbs up button. I'd like to see this show have the most thumbs up than we've ever had. How many thumbs up do we have so far? 4? 50. You guys got to be kidding me. We had EPIC ERIC on the show. Y'all went to college for free. You didn't have to pay your tuition. And y'all have a Bachelor of Science in crankbaits now because of that guy. We need to do more. We need more thumbs up. So that's it. Smash that thumbs up. We'll see you next week. We're going to have another great episode of Monster Bass Live. Thank you guys so much.